Welcome to today's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast, your channel for super easy, no nonsense advice on how to declutter and organise your home. Please welcome your hosts, professional organisers Ingrid Jansen and Lesley Spellman.
Hello and welcome listeners to episode 64 of the Declutter Hub podcast. I'm Ingrid.
And I'm Lesley.
If you have clutter and want to sort it out, this is the show for you. As well as the free resources on our declutterhub.com website, like the podcast, checklists and guest blogs. We also have an exclusive area where we guide our members step by step to declutter their homes. We realize this can be very overwhelming, so we're there every step of the way with courses, live Q&As and a community discussion. Take a look on members.declutterhub.com. In today's episode, Lesley and I will be talking about what we're doing this Christmas and how we prepare and organize ourselves for it. And I am actually, you can probably hear the smile in my voice, but I'm actually I'm nearly crying laughing here because last week I was wearing my Christmas hat, as you can probably remember. And now Lesley is sitting here. Oh my gosh, we need to take a photo of this. Honestly, she's wearing this elf hat with these ears, and it's like oh, I'm sorry listeners, oh my god, I'm crying here. So she's wearing, I have this really like beautiful hat that I think I look really nice, and she's got this ridiculous elf hat that is really pointy and it's got ears and has bells. So Lesley, shake your head.
Yeah, there's my bells. Yeah, I just didn't want to be left out because I felt quite, not really into the Christmas spirit last week, and so now it's closer to Christmas. We're talking about our Christmases, so it's time. So I now unmasked my Christmas outfit, and the elf outfit came out, and so I'm bringing it here for you. And we will post a picture of us in our Christmas hats on the podcasts.
I have one question. When do you wear this elf hat?
No, I don't wear it. Steve wore it on Christmas morning. We sort of share it around. It's a full outfit. I've only showed you the hat. It is a full outfit.
Listeners,
yeah.
We need to vote. Photo of Lesley in her elf outfit. Don't you agree with me? We should all see this elf outfit on Lesley.
Maybe. We will see. Right, okay. Really, we've done 5 minutes of just laughing. Where is the valuable content in that? It's Christmas coming up. We are getting slightly delirious. We're going to take some time off, which is a good thing.
We have now only spent 5 minutes laughing, but it's Christmas. We should be laughing. I love this time of year. It makes me really cheerful. I'm nearly off home, go to see my family. I'm so excited. So we should be cheerful and happy. It's a time of I love Christmas. I do.
It's a time when me and you don't see each other for 2 weeks. So therefore, it's a period of great joy. So anyway, right, we need to talk about our Christmases. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Okay. So you and I have quite different Christmases. So let's talk about what Christmas looks like for you. So the run up to Christmas, the next few days, what does that look like for you?
Well, we are normally home over Christmas, which I'm really looking forward to. So we always go home for about a week. We go back to the Netherlands. We're going to see family and friends. And we got a whole program of places we're going to go, people we're going to see and things we're going to do. So I need to make sure my car is packed with the stuff I need to bring. I need to be on top of my washing and my ironing so I can just pack my suitcases and I bring the right things. My presents, although I don't bring that many presents, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. They need to be wrapped. I need to write my last Christmas cards, and that's it. And the ferry has been booked over the summer, so that was ages ago. So we always do that very much on time. So I'm away for about a week over Christmas, and I'm going to spend all my time with my family.
Right, and so Christmas is getting hosted at your sister's, is it?
Yeah.
So you don't host over Christmas generally. You're always back in Holland.
Yeah.
So that's quite a nice thing. So that's why yours and ours looks different, because I tend to be the host for Christmas Day and have been for quite a number of years, really. So for us, it's all about preparation for the sort of big day and the meal and so on. the leading up to Christmas is a bit of a sort of crazy time of preparation. I always want to be completely done by about 3 o'clock on Christmas Eve in terms of everything ready for the following day. And then we always go out. So we go out with friends and their kids on Christmas Eve for dinner or for drinks, which is always nice. And then we're ready to get up the next morning. My kids are a lot older now, but they still very much love the traditions. And so they will very much be with us, not all night now on Christmas Eve. They will go out with the friends afterwards. But early on Christmas Eve, they always spend with us.
So what kind of things would you prepare then? Like, what do you want to have finished at 3 o'clock on Christmas Eve? What are the things you want to have done?
I want to make sure that all of the wrapping's completely done and that all the stockings are done and they're all in the right stockings, that ready to go, so that when I come in from probably the pub on Christmas Eve, that I just literally have to move things to where they need to go. And I need to be careful again what I'm saying. So I just need to take those presents, put them where they need to be, and I've not got any of this last minute scrambling around, really. I think that's the most important thing for me for Christmas Eve. I like to have the table completely set and ready. I like to have all my crockery and plates and everything ready for dinner for the following day. So that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And do you write Christmas cards, Lesley?
Less and less, actually. I find it really difficult because I do love the tradition of Christmas. And so I kind of lament almost the way that it's going in terms of cards, but equally, is it a waste of money? Is it a waste of resources? I find myself really torn. And so what I do is, over the last few years, I've really only sent cards to the people that I think would truly like them. So probably that tends to be people that are abroad that I wouldn't see very often, or the older generation. I don't think that sending an email or an e-card is a replacement for the real thing, so I'd rather not send one at all. But what I definitely don't do is I don't send cards to my immediate family, and I don't send them to my friends that I see all the time.
How interesting. You know what? I've thought about cards a lot this year, especially because of the environment, and also not necessarily even about the money, but more about the environment. And I kind of almost went, okay, I'm not going to send any cards at all. I'm just really want to send all my lovely clients a card just to thank them for working with me over the past year. And I'm not going to send any other cards. And then at my father's birthday, all my aunts were like, oh, we just love receiving your card over Christmas. Thank you so much for sending us one every year. And I went, okay. And then I'm kind of a bit of an all or nothing person, I think. So then, okay, I'm just going to do everybody. So this year, again, I've opted to write everybody. And so my cards that have been sent internationally have been sent out a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to see quite a lot of people over Christmas. So I'm going to actually give them a card, because I'm not going to send it to them. I'm just going to give it to them. So I can write my cards in phases. But I mean, now we're a couple of days before Christmas. Everything is written. And so I can take it with me, and I'm done with that then.
I think it's really hard, and it's getting increasingly difficult to rationalise everything together, isn't it, with the environment and the cost and intentional spending, and then marry that up against the joy that present giving and present receiving gives, particularly giving. You know, I definitely prefer giving gifts than I do receiving them. I'm not saying that I don't like receiving gifts, because I do, but you know, I think it does bring a lot of joy if it's done well. You know, what I said to my kids this year is, I'm only going to give you presents that you absolutely want. And so I definitely want a wish list from them. Whereas before, I think we've kind of embraced the surprises element of it. And so I just think it needs to be intentional in some way. And we do find ourselves very torn at the moment, don't we, in terms of what we think. And so it's hard as well being in our industry, where we see an awful lot of waste and an awful lot of things that are misbought, and an awful lot of presents that are given that people don't want anymore and feel too embarrassed or guilty to get rid of. And so it is hard. And so I think my compromise this year has been, right, kids, tell me what you want, and within reason, we'll try and cover that. But I need to make sure, even if it's stocking things, you know, in stockings, I put things like knickers and pants and socks and things like that. But if you don't need any, tell me that you don't need any. I'm not going to buy those. I'd rather spend the money on something that you do need. So that's what I've done this year, rightly or wrongly.
It's so interesting, Lesley, because Christmas in the UK is so different than Christmas in Holland. We have very different traditions, because we also have St. Nicholas on the 5th of December. So a lot of the presents that children get, they get from St. Nicholas on the 5th of December, or in some other European countries on the 6th of December. So we actually don't get presents over Christmas. But it changed. When I was young, I got presents from St. Nicholas. But when we got older, we didn't do that. And we put some presents under the Christmas tree. So we then would unwrap them on Christmas Day. But now, because of course, I've lived abroad for many, many years. And in the beginning, when we were living in Ireland, we had to fly in. So we were like, we can't bring any presents. And now, although we drive from London to Holland, I still have cut down on the presents more and more because I just don't want to give presents for the sake of giving presents. So I will bring, of course, maybe some chocolates for my mom or a nice bottle of wine for my sister, things they can use. So we've also agreed with my sister now to not do presents for the children because I hardly even know what to buy for my own kids, let alone, and my kids are very low key. They're not very demanding at all. So they don't want a lot. And let alone that I know what her children want. So we've actually now agreed to focus on experiences and not on presents. And I don't feel my Christmas has gone worse because we don't do presents at all.
I think things are changing and it'll be interesting to see how things go over the next few years really as well, won't it?
Definitely. So so I think things are definitely changing. Are there any other traditions that you have over Christmas, Lesley?
Yeah, I think the most special one to me is on Christmas Eve, we all sit together as a family and read the book "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." It takes 5 minutes, but my kids don't feel as if it's Christmas until we've done that. So even though they're off to the pub as soon as we've read it, we definitely all gather together and do that. And I think as soon as that becomes disbanded, and it absolutely will, because I'm sure Luke will choose to do something different over the next couple of years with his girlfriend and things like that, I just think it'll be quite sad, really, because that tradition be gone. But then traditions come in other ways, don't they, further down the line? But to me, that's a very special thing that we do at Christmas, just sit together. And that's before we go out, we normally go out for dinner or for drinks on Christmas Eve. So finding the book ready for Christmas is always an important part of the preparation.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've now for years and years have gone out with our best friends for dinner on Christmas Eve, and we just happen to go to the same restaurant as well. So I don't think we even have to book a table because they know we're coming on Christmas Eve. And my sister actually moved house recently, and she's now actually living across from a restaurant, which is really, really helpful because she's actually having the kids for us already for the past decade, I believe 12 years maybe. We don't even have to ask each other, are we going to go out for a meal? No, it's Christmas Eve, so we're going. And I love that. It's such a highlight of the year for me.
Definitely. It's splitting that time, isn't it, between family and friends? And that's why it's important to do the preparation. It always sounds a little bit boring, prepare. But what that means is that you can really enjoy your time on the day, which takes me into a decision I made a few years ago about food. And we tend to have about somewhere between 15 and 20 people, depending on who's here on Christmas Day, which is a lot of people. We do get everybody sat down all at once, so we do it in one sitting. And what I was finding is that I spent so much time in the kitchen preparing things on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day. And then I found a restaurant in Sale that do takeaway turkey. And so basically they prepare everything. So they prepare the roast potatoes, they parboil them, they put them in goose fat, and then they're all in these metal trays. And the turkey is a turkey crown. And so it comes completely pre-prepared to the point of putting it in the oven. So everything's seasoned, everything's got the herbs on it, the vegetables are kind of part done, that kind of thing. So it's almost like getting it from a supermarket, but a little bit more, and it's restaurant quality. And if I look at the pricing of it, I couldn't do that dinner for that much money as well. So I've done that for years. The food quality is excellent. It means that I can spend the whole of the morning that we're going to talk about in a minute in terms of what we do on Christmas morning with my family, come back at 2:00. Literally, I can walk through the door here at 2:00 with absolutely nothing done. And by 4:30, the food's on the table, which is, because I want to spend my day enjoying myself with my family. I don't want to spend it cooking. I don't, But then I know there's loads of people out there who get great joy out of doing that. But I'm not a provider of food. I do that, and I don't mind hosting at all. I'd rather have people in my house, but I really want to enjoy it. I always feel I'm a bit pathetic, really. My friends come around for dinner. If I have to host, like we have book club here, and you have to do the wine and nibbles all night, and you're up and down. And I always think I'm missing out, on the gossip that's going on or anything like that. So I'm not the best hostess. I'm great at providing things, but not the best at kind of you know, some people just love doing that, don't they?
Yeah.
And so I decided that a long time ago, from a financial perspective, from a quality perspective, because they're a restaurant, they can cook it much nicer than I would. And also from a time perspective, that's what we're doing. It absolutely works for me.
What a great idea. I mean, if that option is there and you can do that, and that way you enjoy Christmas as well, it sounds like a complete win-win-win to me. So fantastic. Yeah, we do it completely different. So we have a nice breakfast at my sister, and then we always go and visit my dad, who's been in a home for the last, 5-6 years probably already. So we go and see him there for lunch. We normally do like a bread table, so different kinds of bread with different kinds of cold meats, and we have coffee and tea and different and orange juice, and we do that in the home. So my mom books that way in advance. She books a table in the restaurant, and we go and see my dad for a while and visit him. And because that's all he can cope with, we then leave him there because he can't leave the home because he's in a wheelchair as well. Then we take my mom back to my sister's house, and that's where we do Christmas dinner. And we normally try to have like a 3 or 4 course dinner with the kids. So something of like ham and melon as a starter. And then it depends what we do as a main, but it's normally, I love fish. I love sole. So I always ask my mom, can you please buy some sole for me? Because my husband can prepare it really, really well. So he's the fish cooker of the day on Christmas Day. And then there's normally a meat option as well, because some of us in the family don't like fish. So there's some.
So is turkey not a traditional meat in Holland for Christmas Day? Oh, that's interesting.
No. A lot of us eat game. So deer or boar, or my little cousin said the other day, can we have a turkey? Because he must have seen a photo of a turkey and thought, that looks really good. So we're now trying to find something meat in puff pastry, because they really enjoy that as well. And then we'll do a dessert. So
nice.
Food-wise. So normally my mom and my sister, I can get involved in, I would love this, I would love that. But my sister then books the slot. She builds the shopping list of what needs to be bought. My mom gets certain parts of the meal that she gets at a specialist shop. So she brings that along, and she normally chooses the wine because she's got a really nice wine taste. My mom, she normally sorts the wine. And because of course we travel, we can't really bring anything. So we try to help as much on the day with laying the table and clearing up and cooking, helping with cooking and all of those things.
Yeah, that's nice. That sounds like a really nice day, and similar, to be fair, because in the morning on Christmas morning, after we've got up and open presents, then we go around to my father-in-law's and the whole family's there. So we open presents there. We have this tradition of bacon sandwiches at my father-in-law's. So he's 80, so he basically cooks bacon sandwiches all morning. It seems quite mean, because he's so good at it, you know what I mean? So we always leave him to it. And so we always have bacon sandwiches there in the morning, which does not sound very Christmassy, but it's our Christmas tradition as well. But then it's really nice, and we can just stay there and chill, and we do another present opening there for different things, and then come back here, really. The interesting thing is as well is that Boxing Day is my eldest son's birthday. So we tend to then go all the way through from Christmas Day into a kind of party for his birthday. So we are definitely up until the small hours on Boxing Day morning, doing a bit of a double celebration.
Wow. No, I think normally Christmas Day at about 12, that's us all done. Because on Boxing Day, we go to the in-laws. So we leave, because my family is all on the western part of Holland, around Amsterdam, that whole area. And then my in-laws and our family are all on the other eastern part of Holland. So on Boxing Day, that's it. After breakfast, we do a big tidy up. We've stayed at my sister probably for 4 or 5 days. So we help tidy up. We put away the beds. We help hoover the house. And then we pack our bags, pack the car. And around 12, we depart for my in-laws. We now have the tradition there that we go to the bowling alley. We meet at 2:00 at the bowling alley. And we actually play bowling with all of us, with my husband's brothers, their girlfriends and wives, and their kids. And we just, it's become a tradition, and everybody loves it. So Boxing Day, we start with bowling. We're back around 4:15. And then we normally do like a hot plate dinner. So you grill your own meat and your own veg on like a hot plate, and everybody loves it.
The really interesting thing about, if you talk to your children as they get older about Christmas, what they say is, bacon sandwiches at Grandad's house, reading the book, going out for dinner with family and friends the night before, the party in the evening. They're not talking about the presents that they got. so it's interesting, really, isn't it, what people remember? So it is all about experiences and not stuff and traditions, I think. But still, it hinges around this present giving. So I think that's decreasing less and less. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to mention, actually, I seem to recall when I lived in the States that Boxing Day is not a thing in America. Do you know that? I'm sure. And I remember getting asked what Boxing Day was all about. And I can't really remember. Can you? Is Boxing Day a thing in Holland?
No, we don't call it Boxing Day. We call it Second Christmas Day. And of course, so what a lot of people in the Netherlands do, they swap every year. So they go for the Christmas Day to one side of the family, and then Boxing Day to another part of the family of friends, and then the year round they swap. So both family. But in my family, because my husband's parents used to work in a church, so they always had to work on Christmas Day to do the service and help in the church and do the candles and do the coffees and all of that. So we could never go to them on Christmas Day. So we always went to them on Boxing Day. I know they're retired now, but everybody knew what they were doing. So we thought, why change it? So my sister-in-law also goes to her parents on Christmas Day, because we go to Boxing Day to the in-laws, and it works brilliantly. So we never have the whole, where are we, who's going where, what is it is not. No, it's worked. So we just thought, why change a winning formula?
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, but no, just as we're chatting, it's just we're sat here, you with the Christmas hat and me with my elf hat, thinking about what's coming, and it is lovely, and it can get so difficult with all of the things that you've got to do and all of the chores that you've got to do and all the presents that you've got to buy and the queues and all that kind of stuff can sometimes really detract from what it's all about, can't it? And so I think it's really important to get that bit right if you can. And not everyone's as lucky to be around family and friends on Christmas Day. So there's an awful lot of sadness around Christmas as well, and we need to be mindful of that too.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I'm hoping for the people who can't be with their family over Christmas, maybe you can set a certain time on Christmas Day that you want to Zoom with your family, or you want to do a Skype call, or you WhatsApp or a FaceTime or whatever, so you can still feel that you're close to your nearest and dearest, whoever that is. It can be your best friends. Maybe your best friends are the most important people in the whole wide world. Maybe you can spend time with them, or even if it's on a phone call. In the end, I think Christmas is all about spending time virtually or in person with the people you love.
Definitely. So that's what my Christmas looks like.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know, me too. I always go out for a meal with my girlfriends as well. So that's the night before Christmas Eve. Same tradition. We normally try and go ice skating the day after Boxing Day. And then we really, really have to go back home or back to London to celebrate New Year. So yeah, but I'm so grateful for the traditions. I'm grateful for the time of year. And what I also wanted to share is that actually, because we were going to talk about presents, we don't do the presents at all within my family, as you might have gathered. But so my mom has now said if we want to do an activity together. So one year we went ice skating in Amsterdam next to the Rijksmuseum. One day we went to a music concert. This year we're going to see the Chinese State Circus, which is supposed to be amazing, in a massive show in The Hague. So we've already booked tickets for that. So because my mom doesn't know anymore what to buy either for the kids. So we all go and do something. And it's just, all the kids are looking forward to it. And they're not even sad they're not going to get presents, because they rather spend time with each other.
Definitely. No,
and do board games, lots and lots. And you know what's starting to get a tradition as well is to do we party Just Dance. Oh my gosh, Lesley, I get far too fanatical about it. I'm like thinking I can still move like I'm a 20-year-old, and I'm trying to do all the moves with the Wii controller in my hand, because you can get certain points if you do it right. And like the kids are like doing so little effort, and they always outscore me. And I'm like panting and having the sweat on my forehead, thinking, I'm doing all the moves right. Why am I not winning this game?
I know, it definitely brings out the competitive side of us, doesn't it, Christmas? Yeah. So
definitely.
That's all from me. We thought it was just, we're just chilling out Christmas. No one's going to be doing any decluttering this week. So let's just look forward to the holidays. Let's take a chance to think about what's important to us. So we just thought we'd keep it simple. Christmas is coming. no one's really going to be doing any decluttering. So we just thought we'd chat, as is our wont, about what our Christmas looks like. So from me, a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you so much, Lesley. That's it for this episode, listeners. We hope you've enjoyed hearing about our Christmas and about what we are up to over the holiday season. And maybe you're inspired to think about how your Christmas looks like and think about what you do enjoy. And maybe you've realized, you know what, there's one or two things I actually don't enjoy doing. I'm going to declutter them from my schedule next year because this year I'm committed to do them, but maybe next year I'm going to do it differently. That is fine as well. Have a wonderful Christmas. Have a great time. We'll see you next week for our recap of 2019 podcast. We want to share with you everything that we've done over the year. Have you signed up for our Random Acts of Decluttering Challenge starting on January 6th? You can find it on declutterhub.com/random-acts-Jan. For now, thank you so much for listening today. If you've enjoyed this episode or if you enjoyed this podcast, just leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you think about our podcast and tell us what you think about the show. If you'd like to get more tips and advice, please follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as @DeclutterHub. And we have a lively, supportive Facebook group where we chat all things clutter. You can search for the Declutter Hub community. We'd love to see you there. Take a look at members.declutterhub.com to find out more about our membership. If you don't want to miss the next weekly episode, subscribe to the Declutter Hub podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, and it will pop into your notifications each Friday. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Declutter Hub podcast. Check out declutterhub.com for more inspiration and don't forget to tune in next week.